Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And today I'm answering the very simple question: should you be launching a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo campaign at the same time? Is this a good idea? Is it not? We're going to answer that question today. Okay, so first of all, man, it is so exciting that you're interested in doing a Kickstarter campaign. I'm just excited for you. The fact that you're gonna be able to get a product out there to tons of people around the world. You're gonna get funding, all this kind of stuff. You've been listening to my podcast, which I publish on YouTube, but also on Spotify, iTunes, etc. You know that right now it is hot. It is hot, my friends. People every single day are having success stories, and I am doing my best to document as many of those for you as I can, because I wanna see it be successful, man. I wanna see you come back and say, Sal, you know, you're the one who helped me a little bit, and to leave a comment on one of my videos. That would mean the world to me. But anyway, should you be launching a Kickstarter campaign and an Indiegogo campaign at the same time? And I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about that in the video, some of the pros and the cons, and also some thoughts that I have on that. Typically, I get the question from someone who really just wants to maximize the amount of funding that they're getting when they're engaging this whole crowdfunding thing. So they're like, Sal, I'm gonna go through all this effort, like I just wanna maximize my ROI, right? I just wanna do as much as possible. I wanna make sure I get tons of exposure, right? I wanna get everyone talking about this. I wanna get everyone's awareness, right? That's usually the type of person that asks me that question. And I'll go through my answer, but also there's another type of person that asks that question, which is usually if they have seen another creator on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, all of a sudden their wheels start turning and they're like, wait, am I missing something here? Like, can I go on both of these, right? And I'm gonna also talk about why you see that happen. Okay, so first of all, for the person there who's super aggressive, you know, really wants to make sure that they get an audience for their product and these kinds of things, there are people who have tried to do campaigns simultaneously. So we're first talking about simultaneous campaigns. Now, the first thing that I'll say to you is that it is a lot of work to do a campaign in general. And when I'm either working with my coaching students or with my clients, it's always a lot of work, but I love working, right? So I don't think I'll ever retire in my entire life. But that being said, like, it's a lot of work, okay? And when you're trying to do two campaigns, not only does it kind of double the work a bit, but also you have two destinations that you're trying to drive people to when you're doing a pre-launch or when you're live. And sometimes it can be a little bit confusing for people. And I'll always say, this is one of my golden rules of marketing: a confused person rarely will buy. I could even say will never buy, but will rarely buy. If you're confused, usually you're not gonna buy, because you're gonna be like, I don't know where to buy, this doesn't make sense, what do I go to? And then you're just gonna click off, right? Confused people rarely buy. So that's my issue with doing a campaign simultaneously at the same time. I have never seen it done successfully in my 8 years, or almost, I guess, 8 years or so being in the industry. It's very difficult to do one in general, and then you're trying to divide everyone's attention, and then you're trying to be successful on both of them. And it's just, it doesn't work out very well. And the marketplace dynamics are just not there. So like, you know, ideally, for example, you think about the marketplace, it's like maybe, you know, launching on Amazon and on Shopify. It's not like that. You can't, you know, you can launch on Amazon and Shopify, or on Etsy and Shopify, or Etsy and blah, 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 right? And you'll have different marketplaces. With Kickstarter and Indiegogo, it doesn't really work in that same way. So you're gonna wanna pick one, and it's gonna concentrate your efforts, make it so much easier for you to knock it out of the park, and it will just be a lot more of a smooth launch, and you won't have a lot of confusion that you create in the buyers, in the customer base, in your backers, your pledgers, these different types of people. So that's my first answer for you. My second answer really has to do with if you're looking to do not simultaneous, but campaigns one after another, right? So rather than having two campaigns running simultaneously, maybe you'd like to do an Indiegogo to get started, because you can do flexible funding, right? And then maybe do a Kickstarter campaign after that. 100%. I've seen many people be successful with that. I have documented on my podcast a bunch of people who have been successful running campaigns on Kickstarter, running campaigns on Indiegogo, then going back to Kickstarter or going back to Indiegogo, right? I've had people who have done that. And typically this individual wants to just experiment with the two different communities and see which one they like more. But also it depends on your product category. So for example, if you're more of like a hardware product, you might be interested in maybe launching on Indiegogo, because they do have a pretty strong hardware category. Or let's just say you want to do Facebook ads a little bit more easily. Okay, you might want to be interested in Indiegogo because you can install a Facebook pixel, right? Or you want to do referral marketing, okay? So it's built in a little bit more to Indiegogo. So there are different ways to consider that. Maybe you want to do like a secret perk, right? Okay, so you want to go with Indiegogo or the flexible funding or whatever. So there are reasons why you might want to try out first with Indiegogo and then go to Kickstarter, or try out with Kickstarter and be like, maybe my product isn't a good fit for Kickstarter and I only raised like 10,000 bucks or something. I now want to go to Indiegogo and try to raise 5 times that or 10 times that, right? So this is something that you can do. So my answer for that one is green light ahead. Definitely possible. You should be talking with someone like myself, a coach, to help you out. But if nothing else, you can read my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, and everything will be documented there. I hope you and wish you a lot of success. But there's a third person who kind of falls into this question category, and I want to address that next because it's actually really powerful. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. Okay, so this third category, right? This third category is a little bit new to people who have never done a crowdfunding campaign before. So if you're in the audience and you've seen some of the success stories, or you've liked what I've talked about when it comes to this process, and you're like, I'm ready to go, right? But at the same time, I'm still wondering about this question. There is a way to get around this. So what a lot of campaigns are doing nowadays, and I'm talking about currently, a lot of campaigns are running a Kickstarter campaign for a specific period of time. So let's just say you do a 30-day Kickstarter campaign, or you do a 45-day Kickstarter campaign, okay? And you run that campaign pretty successfully. And at the end of the campaign, you still have people that are excited, man. They want to keep backing, they want to keep buying because they're doing what Sal told you, right? You're doing exactly that. And you've gotten that momentum and that traffic and that attention, all that stuff we love to talk about, right? Well, you can continue to maintain that momentum. And there are different ways in which you can do that. So one is you could use like a pledge manager and continue to allow people to upsell and to buy things when they're checking out when they're checking out with their pledge and doing all the survey information. And I have some videos about that. The other thing is you could enter Indiegogo in demand. And a lot of campaigns will do this. So you'll notice if you go to Indiegogo and you go to in demand, a lot of campaigns are listed as, I raised, let's just say $500,000 on Kickstarter, and then on Indiegogo, I raised $800,000, right? Or whatever. So those campaigns, when they say, I raised this amount with another platform, it's almost always Kickstarter. Let's be honest. Like, I don't even know why Indiegogo tries to hide that, right? But probably for branding, they don't want to be associated. But that's really what that means. So you actually are having a lot of campaigns nowadays who are running a successful Kickstarter campaign, and then they're going into Indiegogo in demand. And the reason they're doing that is that they want to continue to raise funds, right? Now, there are some drawbacks, of course, which is you're getting more and more backers, and you're going to have to fulfill those orders at a certain point in time and either cap it, enter an e-commerce store, or progress to more of a shipping mode where you are just regularly shipping out your products, right? But if you have a lot of demand and you want to make the most of this process, that can be something that you could consider, which is to go into Indiegogo in demand. And then you're technically running a Kickstarter and then an Indiegogo campaign, right? Now, the difference is that when you go into in demand, you're going to port over the financial information of how much you raised into Indiegogo in demand. So people are going to see, look, I raised this amount already. What does that do? Creates social proof, right? I have that great video out there. I went through different marketing tactics and strategies, and it creates social proof, one of the most important components for creating trust and getting strangers to take action. Creates that social proof. If people see you've already raised that amount or attracted from this many backers, right? So then they're going to be more likely to just back you on Indiegogo. So you can do this. This is something that is realistic. Now, the next question is like, okay, how long of a campaign should I run? So that's going to vary from person to person, and also your goals, quite honestly, with e-commerce. Because keep in mind, you are going to be still paying the fee to the platform in order to host that Indiegogo in demand campaign. And you'll want to look that up because it's actually a little bit higher than just the normal 5% flat fee because you're coming from another platform. So that being said, I think it's definitely realistic. I'd say for a duration, you could do a 30-day campaign pretty easily. I think if you wanted to, you could even probably do longer. You could leave it open for a really long time if you want to function as like an online store, right? But you're still then going to be responsible for the marketing and for driving traffic and all that kind of stuff once you tap out the Indiegogo community. So in my opinion, your choice is, do I want to go and continue to raise using crowdfunding, which has been very successful for me, or do I want to go straight to Shopify or WooCommerce or Magento or one of these other store builders? You can watch some of my videos on that. And do I want to get into that a little bit more seriously? And that's definitely a question you should talk about with your coach, or one you should talk about with your campaign manager. If you have one, you're working with someone, that's something that you should be considering, and you should be aware of the pros and the cons. But that would be my 3 answers for you. If you're wondering, should you be running a Kickstarter and Indiegogo at the same time? If you haven't yet, you can always check out my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula. You could also book a coaching call with me down below. Got some other great resources down below that you can look into. I hope you have a great experience with this. That is the whole purpose behind my channel, is to help you, man, to help you with this. And hopefully you'll also leave a comment so that other people know that this video is worth their time. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Sal, and I'll see you next time.